The tea has gone cold. I can see a thin film on the surface of the liquid, a dull, oily sheen that catches the gray light coming in from the window. I should get up and pour it out, maybe boil the kettle again, but the chair has me now. It's a heavy leather wingback, cracked in the places where my elbows rest, and once I am settled into it, the effort to rise feels like a negotiation with gravity that I am not quite ready to begin. So I just watch the cup. I watch the dust motes dancing in the singular beam of afternoon sun that cuts across the rug. You can, I interrupt. You really can. Nobody will remember if you stayed late tonight. Nobody. But your son will remember if you came home. There is a silence on the line. A real silence. Not an awkward one, but a thoughtful one. I can hear the hum of his office in the background, the same hum I lived in for 50 years. Are you sure you're okay, Dad? He asks again. But this time, he's not asking out of obligation. He's asking because he hears something. I'm tired, David, I say. I'm just tired, but I'm okay. Listen, he says, I might be coming your way next month for a conference. Maybe I could drive down, stay for a weekend? My hands grip the phone tighter. I would like that, I say. I would like that very much. The garden is a mess. Maybe you could help me with it. Sure, Dad, sure. Go home, David. Okay, thanks, Dad. Good night. Good night. I press the button. The line goes dead. I put the phone back in the cradle. The house is still quiet. The clock is still ticking. The darkness is still pressed against the glass. But something has changed. The air feels a little lighter. Next month, it's a long time. But it is something. It is a box on the calendar that isn't empty. I pick up my tea. It's still warm. I take a sip. I sit back down in the leather chair. I listen to the creak of the springs. I am alone. I cannot change the 50 years that are gone. I cannot bring back the people I lost. I cannot untangle the knots of a lifetime of distance in one phone call. But I can wait. I close my eyes. I listen to the refrigerator hum. I listen to the house settle. I am here, and for tonight, that has to be enough. It is so quiet here. That is the first thing and the last thing. The silence. It isn't a peaceful silence exactly. It's a heavy one. It has a weight, like a thick wool blanket pulled up over your head. You can hear the house breathing. The refrigerator hums in the kitchen, a sudden mechanical shudder that stops just as abruptly as it starts. The floorboards in the hallway settle with a dry crack, though no one is walking on them. And the clock on the mantel. Tick, tick, tick. It used to be just background noise. Now it sounds like a gavel striking a wooden block, over and over again. I spent 50 years trying to get away from silence. I suppose I didn't know that's what I was doing at the time. But looking back now, from the vantage point of 82 years, I see it clearly. I filled every minute. I packed every hour with noise, with motion, with the friction of doing things. 50 years. It sounds like a number when you say it out loud, just a statistic. But when you sit in a chair that smells of old tobacco and lemon polish, feeling the ache in your left hip, 50 years feels like an ocean you swam across, only to reach the shore and realize you left everything that mattered on the other side. I remember the morning routine. It was a religion. The alarm would go off at 5:30, not 5:31. 5:30, the shower, hot and sharp. The smell of shaving cream, menthol and cedar. The coffee, scalded and bitter, poured into a travel mug. The keys, the car door slamming. That sound, the thud of a car door. It felt like punctuation. It meant I was moving. It meant I was a man of substance, a man with a destination. I love the office. I can admit that now, though it feels strange to say it to an empty room. I love the noise of it, the ringing phones, back when phones rang with a real physical bell inside them, the clatter of typewriters, then keyboards, the voices overlapping in the hallway. It was a symphony of importance. I felt necessary. That's the word. I felt that if I wasn't there, the machinery of the world would grind to a halt. I worked late, always. I wore it like a badge of honor. I would come home after dark, the house already quiet, my wife asleep, the children's doors closed. I would eat a plate of food left in the oven, lukewarm, sitting at the kitchen table with my tie loosened, reading the reports for the next day. I told myself I was doing it for them. That was the great lie, the golden lie. I am doing this for the family. I am building a life. I am securing the future. And I did. I secured the future. The mortgage is paid. This house is mine. The car in the garage is paid for. There is money in the bank. But the house is empty. My wife, she tried for the first 20 years. She would ask me to come home early. She would ask for weekends. She would plan trips that I would cancel at the last minute because of a crisis at the firm. There was always a crisis. There was always a deal that couldn't wait, a client who needed hand-holding. I remember her face one specific evening, standing in the doorway of the study. She was holding 2 tickets to the theater. I didn't even look up from my desk. I just pointed at the phone and shook my head. She didn't yell. She didn't slam the door. She just stood there for a long moment, looking at the top of my head, and then she turned and walked away. I think that was the moment she started to leave, even though she stayed in the house for another 15 years until the cancer took her. She left emotionally. She built a life without me, a life of friends and book clubs and gardening, a life where I was a lodger who paid the bills. I didn't mind. I was busy. I was important. And the friends? I had work friends. You know the kind. Men you play golf with to secure a contract. Men you drink scotch with at the holiday party, clapping each other on the back, laughing at jokes that aren't funny. We talked about business. We talked about politics. We talked about sports. We never talked about anything real. I thought they were my friends. When I retired 7 years ago, I thought my phone would keep ringing. I thought they would call to ask for advice. I thought we would meet for lunch. The first week, there were a few emails. Congratulations. Enjoy the golf. Well deserved. The second week, silence. I realized then that I wasn't their friend. I was a function. I was a title. I was the vice president of operations. I wasn't Thomas. I was the guy who signed the approvals. Once I couldn't sign the approvals, I ceased to exist for them. It wasn't malicious. It's just how the machine works. I was a cog, and they replaced the cog, and the machine kept spinning. My hand is shaking a little. I watch it resting on the arm of the chair. The skin is like parchment paper, thin and spotted. The veins are blue ropes under the surface. It's a stranger's hand. I look at it and I wonder how this happened. How did the strong, steady hand that signed thousands of documents become this trembling thing? I try to remember the names of the people I worked with. There was a secretary, Brenda? No, Glenda. She sat outside my office for 12 years. She knew how I took my coffee. She knew my wife's birthday better than I did. She bought the gifts I gave to my children. Where is she now? I don't know. I never asked her about her life. I never asked her what she was afraid of or what she hoped for. She was just part of the furniture of my success. Now the days are very long. You have no idea how long a day is until you have nothing to put in it. I wake up at 5:30 still. The body remembers even if the purpose is gone. I lie in bed and watch the gray light shift on the ceiling. I listen to the birds. They sound so frantic, so busy. They have things to do. I get up. I make the coffee. I don't rush. There is no train to catch. There is no meeting. I drink the coffee and I look out the window at the garden. It's overgrown now. My wife loved the garden. She planted roses, hydrangeas, peonies. I pay a man to come and mow the lawn, but he doesn't touch the flower beds. They are wild, tangled. I should go out there and weed them. I tell myself I will tomorrow, but the knees and the back and the sheer weight of the apathy keeps me inside. I have children, a son and a daughter. They are good people, successful. My son lives in Chicago, my daughter in London. They are very busy. They are exactly like me. We speak on the phone, perhaps once a month. The conversations are polite. They ask about my health. I say I am fine. I ask about their jobs. They tell me they are busy. So busy, Dad. You know how it is. Yes, I know how it is. I want to scream at them through the phone. I want to say, stop, put down the work, come home, just sit with me, let me look at you. But I don't, I can't. I taught them too well. I taught them that love is providing. I provided, so I love them. They are providing for their families, so they are loving me from a distance. It is the inheritance I gave them, the ability to be successful and alone. The sun has moved. The beam of light is hitting the bookshelf now. It illuminates the spines of books I haven't opened in decades. Encyclopedias. Who needs encyclopedias now? The world changes so fast, I feel like a relic, a piece of technology that is no longer compatible with the operating system of the world. Sometimes I go to the grocery store just to hear a human voice. I buy things I don't need, a bag of lemons, a tin of expensive biscuits. I stand in the checkout line and I hope the cashier will talk to me. Sometimes they do. They say, "Have a nice day." It's a script, I know, but for a second someone is looking at me. Someone acknowledges that I am occupying space in the universe. Last Tuesday, I dropped a jar of pasta sauce. It shattered on the linoleum. Red sauce everywhere. Glass shards. I stood there staring at it, and I felt this overwhelming urge to cry. Not because of the mess, but because I realized that if I fell, if I shattered like that jar, no one would know. I could lie on the kitchen floor for days. A young man in a blue apron came over and cleaned it up. He was kind. He said, "Don't worry, sir. It happens all the time." He touched my shoulder. Just a light tap. I almost grabbed his hand. I almost held on to him just to feel the warmth of another living person. I didn't, of course. I just nodded and paid for my broken sauce and walked to the car. I drive slower now. I used to be an aggressive driver, horn honking, weaving through traffic. Now I stay in the right lane. I watch the young people zooming past me, talking on their phones, eating sandwiches, putting on makeup. They look so angry, so determined. They are rushing toward the future. I want to roll down the window and shout, "What is the hurry? What do you think is waiting for you?" But they wouldn't hear me. And if they did, they wouldn't listen. I wouldn't have listened. If an old man had told me at 30, "Slow down, you're losing your life," I would have laughed. I would have called him a loser. I would have said, "I have ambition." Ambition. It's a drug. It numbs you to the present. You are always living in the future. When I get the promotion, when I get the bonus, when I retire, you mortgage the present moment for a payoff that, when it finally arrives, feels empty. The tea is definitely undrinkable now. The room is getting darker. The shadows are stretching out, long and thin, like fingers reaching across the floor. I think about my wife a lot in this time of day. The twilight. She liked to sit in this room, knitting or reading. I used to get annoyed by the clicking of her knitting needles. Click, click, click. It distracted me from the television or my papers. Now I would give everything I own, the house, the car, the pension, just to hear that sound again, just to know someone is in the room. I have photos, of course, framed on the mantle. Us at the beach, 1975. Us at the wedding, the kids in their graduation gowns. But photos are cold. They are flat. They are memories of moments I probably didn't fully appreciate when they were happening. In the beach photo, I am looking at my watch. I can see it. I am smiling, but my eyes are drifting off camera, probably worrying about a deadline. I was there, but I wasn't there. It's a strange grief. It's not a sharp, stabbing pain. It's a dull ache, like a bruise that never heals. It's the grief of omission, the grief of things not done, conversations not had, hugs not given. I wonder if it's too late. That's the question that circles in my head like a trapped fly. Is it too late? I could pick up the phone. I could call my son. I could say, "I'm lonely." But the words get stuck in my throat. It feels like a defeat. It feels like admitting that my life, the life I was so proud of, was a hollow shell. It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable when you have spent 80 years being strong. So I sit. I listen to the house. The wood expands and contracts as the temperature drops. The wind rattles the window pane in the hallway. The latch has been loose for years. I really should fix that. I have the tools. I have a workshop in the garage full of tools that are pristine, barely used. Saws, drills, hammers. I bought them thinking I would build things in my retirement. I thought I would build birdhouses or bookshelves. I haven't built a thing. I just go out there sometimes and smell the sawdust and the oil. It smells like potential. It smells like the man I thought I would be. The silence is deepening. The streetlights have flickered on outside. I can see the orange glow filtering through the sheer curtains. It's a lonely light, artificial and harsh. I watch the neighbors across the street. A young couple moved in last year. I can see into their living room. Their curtains are open. They are sitting on the sofa. The television is on, flashing blue light on their faces. They are eating pizza from a box. They are laughing. The woman leans her head on the man's shoulder. He rests his chin on her head. It is such a simple gesture, a chin resting on a head. It means nothing to them probably, just comfort. But from here, from across the dark street, looking through the glass, it looks like a miracle. It looks like the most important thing in the world. I turn away. It hurts to watch. My body feels heavy. The fatigue is different now. It isn't the good tiredness of a day's work. It's the tiredness of existing, the tiredness of carrying a heavy memory. I need to eat something. I'm not hungry, but I need to maintain the routine. If I stop the routine, I stop everything. Toast. I will have toast. And tea. Hot tea this time. I grip the arms of the chair. The leather creaks. I push down. My knees protest, a sharp grinding sensation, but I push through it. I stand up. I am unsteady for a moment. The room spins slightly, then settles. I am up. I walk to the kitchen. My slippers shuffle on the hardwood. Shh, clack. Shh, clack. The sound of an old man walking. I fill the kettle. The water rushing from the tap is loud. I turn it off. I click the switch. The kettle begins to rumble. While I wait, I look at the calendar on the wall. It is still turned to last month. I haven't flipped the page. Does it matter? November, December. It's all the same, just days. I see a note scribbled on a date in October. Dentist, 2 p.m. That was the last appointment I had. The last time I had to be somewhere. I flipped the page to the current month. Blank. White squares. 31 empty boxes waiting to be filled with nothing. I take a pen from the counter. It's a promotional pen from my old company. It has the logo on it. The logo has changed since I left. They rebranded. This pen is an artifact of a dead civilization. I stare at tomorrow's date. I could write something. I could write, call son. My hand hovers over the paper. The pen shakes. What if he doesn't answer? What if he answers and his voice is tight with impatience? Dad, I'm in a meeting. Can I call you back? And he never calls back. That rejection, I don't know if I can take it. It is safer to be alone than to reach out and be reminded that you are a burden. But the silence is so loud tonight. I write it. Call David. The ink looks stark against the white paper. It looks like a command, a challenge. The kettle whistles, a low rising shriek that snaps me back to the room. I pour the water. The steam rises, warming my face. I smell the bergamot of the Earl Grey. It is a familiar, comforting smell. I carry the mug back to the living room, but I don't sit down yet. I stand by the window. I look at my reflection in the dark glass. I see an old man, gray hair, thinning, shoulders stooped, a cardigan that is slightly too big. I don't recognize him, not really. Inside, I am still 35. Inside, I am still running for the train. Inside, I am still the man who commands the room. But the mirror doesn't lie. The mirror tells the truth that the mind tries to hide. I worked for 50 years. I climbed the ladder. I reached the top. And I found that there is nothing at the top but a view of everything you missed while you were climbing. I take a sip of the tea. It burns my tongue. The pain is sharp, real. It grounds me. I am here. I am still here. I look at the phone on the side table. It's a black cordless landline. It sits in its cradle, silent. I put the tea down on a coaster. I need to use 2 hands to pick up the handset. It feels heavy. I dial the number. I know it by heart. I have known it since he was in college. The tone rings. Brr, ring. Brr, ring. My heart is hammering in my chest. It's ridiculous. I used to negotiate million-dollar contracts without sweating, and now calling my own son makes me feel like a frightened child. Brr, ring. Maybe he's out. Maybe he's putting the kids to bed. Maybe he sees the number and thinks, not now. Brr, ring. I am about to hang up. My fingers hovering over the button to disconnect. It's better to just leave it. It's better not to disturb. Hello? Dad? The voice is breathless, rushed, but it's there. I open my mouth. My throat is dry. I have to clear it. David. Yeah, Dad. Is everything okay? It's late. Is everything okay? The question hangs in the air. No, everything is not okay. I am alone in a house that is too big. I am disappearing. I am scared of the dark. But I can't say that. The habit of 50 years is too strong. The armor is rusted, but it's still strapped to my body. Everything is fine, I say. My voice sounds thin. I was just sitting here. Oh, okay, good. You scared me for a second. Usually you don't call this late. I know, I say. I know. There is a pause, a long, awkward silence. The kind of silence that usually ends the call. Well, glad you're okay, Dad. Speak soon. I can hear him taking a breath to say it. I can hear the dismissal coming. David, I say quickly, too loud. Yeah? I look at the dark window. I look at the empty chair. I was watching the neighbors. They were eating pizza. Okay, he sounds confused. I remembered when we used to order pizza on Friday nights when you were small. Do you remember that? Silence on the other end. Then a shift in his tone, a softening. Yeah, Dad. I remember. Pepperoni and mushroom. You used to let me eat the crusts you left behind. I did, I say. A small smile cracks the dry skin of my face. I did. That was a long time ago, he says. It was, I agree. It feels like 5 minutes. I'm at the office, Dad, he says. The old excuse. The shield. I know, I say. You're working hard. Yeah, got a big deadline. David. Yeah? Go home. What? Go home, I say. The words come out steady this time. The work will be there tomorrow. Go home to your wife. Go home to your kids. Eat some pizza. Dad, I can't just...